You know, a lot of people think that these swim baits are really just for clear water and they're just for springtime. But in reality, for me, this has been a bait that I've been using all season long and even in dirty water. The great thing about this over all other swim baits, especially the soft plastic ones, is that because it's got those flat sides, it's got that jointed body and it makes a lot of vibration and it helps the fish find it even in dirty waters. Golly, did he just cream it. Anytime you've got these fish that are roaming around on these flats, you need something you can cover a lot of water with. You know, these fish are feeding on big bait fish, so you need something that's imitating a big meal. That's why the king shad has become one of my favorite big smallmouth baits. I got him. Come up underneath it and got it. One thing that I really like to do for these smallmouth, and when I'm throwing crankbaits and things like this, is I like to switch the hooks to triple grip trebles. Those triple grips really hold these fish like this a lot better. But that's an awesome fish right there to start the day. Gotta hit it right at the boat. It's not a big one, but that's a good fish still. So often like that, they're gonna come up and slap at this thing. And that's what I love about the king shad is, you know, that's not that big a fish, but it's a kind of bait that really appeals to every size. You know, that's not too big for a bass like this to eat, yet the great big ones come after it too. The whole key to this bait right here is the retrieve that you use. Now, I mean, you can fish this thing a lot of different ways, but when I'm targeting smallmouth, I know that they like erratic movements of their prey, or they can't stand it. This is the only swim bait that I know that I can fish real fast, and I can kind of jerk it and twitch it and stop and start, and that's what this bait does. Looks like a wounded bait fish, and they can't handle it. One of the great things that I like about this bait is how natural that it looks in the water. So color, obviously, is critical. And I base the color on the water clarity, the time of the year, and the forage in the body of water that I'm fishing. You know, if the water's a little bit dirtier, I want to use the solid painted colors, the brighter colors that are going to be more visible in those conditions. It's hard to beat the gizzard shad. It's almost got a pearl white belly, black back. It's just like most bait fish anywhere in the country. Tennessee shad's another good one, the rainbow trout. Any of those patterns that are solid colored, have a little bit of chartreuse on them, they're going to be real visible if the water's got a stain to it. Now, as the water gets clear, that's where the color choice is even more critical. You know, the shad patterns, things like that, those are going to really shine in those clear waters. One of my favorites is the bluegill pattern. It's great around the spawn. You know, when the bass are, you know, building nests and guarding their beds away from the bass, they can't pass that one up. It looks so natural. When they get a good look at it, you want it to look as natural as possible, and they'll come a long ways to bite these baits. One of the great things I like about this bait is how versatile it is through all the different times of the year. You know, early in the spring when the water's cold, one of the best ways to fish this is just with your rod tip high, just waking that bait right underneath the surface. I'll just reel it along with a slow, steady retrieve and stop it every now and then just for a split second and continue that retrieve. As the water warms up now and you start to get around the spawn, I like to speed up my retrieve a little bit, and if I can see an object out there like a bush or a stump or a rock or dock piling, I want to just reel it up to it and stop it. Maybe give it a little twitch, a little more action to the bait. And that's the great thing about it, is this is a lure I can reel at all speeds. Now, if the water's real clear, and especially when I'm fishing around smallmouths and big spotted bass, I'll reel it a little bit faster, and I'm going to kind of jerk it and twitch it a little bit. I'm going to try to make it move real erratically. And that's one of the neat things that I like about this bait over any I've ever fished before in this category, is that you can do that with it. I can reel it as fast as I want. I can still kind of twitch it and jerk it, and it almost works like a jerk bait, but yet it still has that profile of that shad. It seems to me that the more erratic that I can make it as the water gets warmer, the more bass I catch.